Marshall, Will, and Holly on the routine expedition met the greatest earthquake ever known. High on the rapids, it struck their tiny raft and plunged them down 1,000 feet below to the land of the lost.
Hello. This is my second video blog of the year. Not doing them as frequently as I thought I was going to. Kind of an interesting and rather serious and somber subject for today's video blog. I'm a member of Netflix, and I chose to rent Season 1 of the 1970s cult classic Land of the Lost. The television series, the Saturday morning series, a fond memory from my childhood. Family, a father and two children, Rick, Marshall, Will, and Holly, are on a rafting trip, and they are in an earthquake and are thrown over a waterfall, but also thrown through a dimensional portal to another world filled with dinosaurs and lizard men. It's called the Land of the Lost. And so a very interesting high concept for a Saturday morning series back in the 70s. Very low production values, you know, they use puppets for the dinosaurs and stop motion animation, but it's really cool. And the episodes themselves were often written by revered science fiction authors like Larry Niven and David Gerrold. But when you really think about it, I'm watching these things. They're very survival oriented. Every plot is centered around trying to escape, trying to find water, trying to find food, and trying not to be eaten by dinosaurs, or Sleestak, which are the lizard men, who shoot little crossbows at them and try to kill them and apparently eat them. So you think about it, and you're like, well, there's this guy and his two small children, or you know, young children. They're trapped. They're constantly on the run from predators. They're just eking out a survival. And if my recollection is correct, and I think it is, the show is only on for a few years, and they are never rescued. They never get out of the Land of the Lost. They never, ever do. So they died in the Land of the Lost. And it's actually worse than that, because the father actually didn't die. He, at the end of the second season, was transported accidentally back to Earth, back to our time and space, and their uncle, Will and Holly's uncle, is transported in so that there's another adult around for the purposes of the show. However, think about that. The father is transported back to our time and space. How does he explain the disappearance of his children to the authorities? Well, yes, Your Honor, I took them out on a rafting trip, and they were transported into another dimension where I left them behind when I arranged some magic crystals and was thrown back. Do you think that it's even possible that he was not committed to a maximum security institution for the criminally insane? So he lives out his life in prison, knowing that his children are trapped in the Land of the Lost, probably being eaten by Sleestak and dinosaurs. His brother or brother-in-law, I can't remember which one it is. Also, if he even knows that he's there, he probably thinks his children were left alone and that he abandoned them. He dies in misery. And not to mention the children themselves. What do they have to look forward to? Just barely scraping by their brother and sister. They can't even restart the human race without incest. Or maybe they can mate with the Pacu, the monkey men. Or they can get eaten by a dinosaur, or they can eat a poisonous plant, or the Sleestak can get them, or they could just die from sleeping on a rock floor of a cave for too long. What a terrible, terrible life. I mean, and we're watching it on Saturday morning with some happy-ass theme song. I mean, it's sick. We're watching them die.
Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition met the greatest earthquake ever known. High upon the rapids, it struck their tiny raft and plunged them 1,000 feet below to to the land of the